Hey everyone, it's Rob from Hypop and welcome back to another video. In this one, we are taking a closer look at a lesser known brand, which is called Tolifo, and two of their light fixtures. These are COB LED lights, two for different purposes. You've got a 135 watt here, and you've also got a 350 watt COB LED. So full disclosure, Tolifo have sent these light fixtures over to us. However, they haven't told us what to say or anything to mention in the video. So all of my opinions and thoughts are purely my own, and we'll definitely be reviewing them and giving our thoughts. So I've got two light fixtures here. Firstly, we have the SK-135FR. This one is a neat little fixture because it is an RGB light of a smaller form factor. You can see here it's quite small. There are other RGB lights on the market, however they're not typically this small. Zhiyun have just recently released one which is called the X-350B RGB, which we have unboxed and reviewed. If you want to take a closer look at that one, click the link up above. However, most of the lights of this form factor here, especially from brands like Godox and Aperture, such as the SL60 or the SL100, and also Aperture's COB60D, they're quite small and they are not RGB. So they've yet to release their RGB variants of this type of output or form factor. So it's great to see, you know, other brands or lesser known brands such as Tolifo releasing lights like this. And to the left of me here, we have a larger light fixture, and this is called the X-350B LITE. Obviously a larger light, its output is about 300 watts. So it is for different purposes, perhaps your main key light, whereas this one here would be, you know, a secondary light or an accent light being an RGB light. Now, just jumping into the physical features of the SK-135FR. Firstly, what we can see is a yoke bar. So this is a single-sided yoke bar. And these are handy because it allows you to rotate the light fixture. So if we take the cap off here, you're actually able to rotate it completely 360 degrees. And that's great for positioning, especially if you have this mounted up high or if you have it on a wall mount or a ceiling mount. And you can see on the front here, it's quite unique in terms of the COB chip at the front here. You've got the typical yellow or orangish type COB. However, there are the RGB chips at the center there, obviously to allow the RGB functionality with this particular light. You've got the heatsink at the back there. It is a Bowens mount still. The actual light fixture is made from sort of like an aluminium build for the casing here, but a bit of plastic towards the back. And you actually do have two powering options at the back here. You have mounts for 2x NPF series batteries, and you also have the plug and the AC adapter that's provided with this particular light. Everything that's included with the light is basically the light fixture. You have the Bowens mount reflector here as well. This is one of those hyper reflectors, so the shape is a little bit more narrow. It does help, you know, give a bit more punch with the light. And this light fixture also has app connectivity with Tolifo's own app, as well as the capability for an optional wireless remote control, which is a 2.4 gigahertz, and it is sold separately, and you have about 30 meters range with that particular remote. Now, the light itself actually has a really high CRI rating of 97, and it has a CCT range of 2700 Kelvin to 6500 Kelvin. So it has all your typical features for a bicolor light with the added functionality of the RGB features via the HSI mode here. So you can see on the left side here, on the right of the fixture, it's actually, they've got a swing tag here that has the RGB hue color reference chart, and you'll be able to dial in from 0 to 360 degrees. Those colors, you know, obviously the saturation of the light, as well as the intensity and how strong you want. This light also has lighting effects. So if that's your flavor, we have 20 lighting effects with this particular light. And yeah, it's basically an all-in-one package for such a small light fixture. Now, the thing I really like about the powering options here are that the NPF battery plate is fixed on the actual light. Whereas with other lights, such as the Amaran COB60D, you have a separate battery plate. It is a smaller light fixture overall, the Amaran. However, you know, having it all in one like this just means there's less parts to carry in your kit. So you can have it all streamlined here and then just add some NPF batteries if you need to shoot on location or if you don't have access to power. Now, mounting the Bowens mount is relatively straightforward. You just obviously line them up and twist to lock. And you can see that does increase the size of the light fixture, but that allows you to have a bit more output on the light if you want a more spot type light. And being a Bowens mount means you can mount an array of different lighting modifiers, including softboxes, beauty dishes, barn doors, so many options. So it really is a great light fixture. Now over to my left here, we have a larger light, the X-350B. And you can see overall, it's probably about double, if not 2.5 the size of this light here. Now this light is a bicolor light only, and really it's made to be one of your main key lights. It's a typical mono light design. So you can see there's no additional control packs. All the controls are on the back here. And from other popular brands such as Godox, you have lights that are similar, such as the SL300 from Godox. And from Aperture, you don't have these kind of monolight designs so much in the 300 watt plus range, because typically they have separate control packs such as the Aperture C300D and the C300X. So yeah, it's good to see, you know, a light fixture that's relatively small for its output. Let's jump in and take a closer look at how to operate these lights as well as some of the major features. So I've plugged in the SK-135FR into its provided AC adapter here. Now turning this on, there's an LCD display that immediately shows up, and you've got a few things listed on this display. Firstly, you've got the channel. You've also got a Bluetooth icon. You have the dimming percentage that goes up in 1% increments. And you also have the CCT range here, currently set at 4400 Kelvin. And when you press down on the center button here, there's a spinning dial. The center button toggles between CCT and dimming. You can see it's going up in 100K increments for the CCT, all the way up to 6500 Kelvin, and down to 2700 Kelvin there too. And the dimming is now highlighted and it's blinking, and you can go up. You can see it's quite a warm light now, being at 2700. There we go. And now you can actually change mode by pressing down the M button. And from here, you can see it's flashing hue, which means you're able to now change the hue of the light, going from that 0 to 360 degrees. You can perhaps save this swing tag at the back here if you need a reference to know what color that you need to dial into. But if you go down to, say, let's go down into about 3. Let's change the saturation all the way up to what it should be, 100%. There we go. You can see it's quite a reddish light. And you have dimming also, so controlling the intensity of that particular color. Now jumping into effects, you can see there's a bunch of different lighting effects as well as the frequency of those effects. So for this particular effect, which is flashing, you can see you've got up to 9 different tempos or frequencies for that particular effect, and then you can cycle through each of those effects. It's the dimming. You can cycle through all the way up to 20 effects there. So light fixture itself is really easy to control and adjust. You can do so via the onboard controls here, once again via the app that Tolifo has, and also via the remote control if that's an optional remote control, one that you can purchase separately. Now that it's been on for quite some time, I can hear the fan going now, and I can actually feel it towards the top here with the air vents, also towards the back. So that's just something to take note, especially in sound sensitive environments. And at the bottom here, once again, about this yoke bar, there's actually 2 mounting points, and one is directly at the top here and also down towards the side. So if you're doing some top-down shooting, or if you have a mount that's closer to the ceiling, you may want to use that additional mount there, and you're able to reposition with that yoke bar there too. Obviously noting that there are limitations with the yoke bar. If you have it plugged in, you just need to reposition the cable there so it's not in the way. So I have the X-350B LITE here mounted on the stand now, and just going through some of the major features of this light. Firstly, it has a CRI rating of 97. It has a CCT range of 2700 Kelvin to 6500 Kelvin. It also has special lighting effects, but only 12 with this particular fixture, simply because it's only a bicolor light. You have dimming obviously from 0 to 100%, and you can adjust the color temperature in 100K increments. You do have the option of controlling this light in 3 different ways. Firstly, onboard controls. You also have the app control, as mentioned previously, similar to the SK-135FR. You also have that optional 2.4 GHz remote control too, which will allow you 30 meters of range when operating. Now, this light fixture is purely going to be one of your powerful lights in your setup. You'd have it as a key light, one of your main lights. It is 350 watts, so similar to its name there, 350B. It has 350 watts of output. Being high CRI, being a single point source light, being a mono light design without any control pack, this is going to be one of those portable strong lights that you'd have in your kit. Now, just turning this light fixture on really quickly. Now, firstly, you can see here the LCD screen displays the dimming and also the CCT. So we can increase and decrease the intensity by 1% there, going quite high. You see quite bright for a light, obviously 350 watts. You have CCT, and you can change that in 100K increments from 6500 Kelvin to 2700 Kelvin. So you can go warm if you want. From here, you've actually got some buttons, 4 different buttons here. Firstly is temp, and that's a pretty unique one. It shows you the temperature of the light fixture. So currently at 25 degrees Celsius. So I'd assume, obviously, as you have this on for longer, that heat will start to increase there. The temperature will increase, and yeah, the fans would likely get activated. You've got effects there. As mentioned, you've got 12 different lighting effects. If you press down, effects are highlighted from 1 to 12. And when you press down, once again, you've got the frequency similar to the other model, 1 to 9 frequency of that particular effect. And of course, back to dimming and how powerful you want the light to be at that particular effect. You have Bluetooth reset at the top here, and that's primarily used for the app function. Now, Tolifo actually have their own app. It's called Link Lite, and they actually provide a app control guide here. So which basically gives you a QR code to download that particular app. Allows you to control groups of light fixtures. So if you're familiar with other brands' apps, Godox, Aperture, they all have similar apps where allows you to sort of add them into one configuration and then control them all independently if you need to. You've got the fan option too. So if we press the fan, press and hold down the fan. As soon as you press the fan, that will mean that you can go into silent mode with this particular light here, and it automatically goes down to 20% in the intensity. Obviously, going any higher than that will enable it to the fan, to turn on once again, because the unit needs to cool itself. But as soon as you press dim, it goes back down to 20%. So that's a nifty feature to have if you want to ensure that your light fixture is completely silent. That's really good. Some brands have fanless lights altogether. However, they are quite big and bulky, even just for lower power outputs. But it's good to see that this particular feature there is included with the light. So if you've got a 350 watt light, for example, and you want the fan off and you press the fan button there, and it goes down to 20%, you're essentially only getting about 70 watts of output, or 20% of 350. So that's a good sort of feature to have in a light source. Apart from that, it's a relatively straightforward light fixture. And the physical designs, you've got that yoke bar. This is a double-sided yoke bar. You have an umbrella mount towards the bottom here. So if you just wanted to use a simple modifier such as an umbrella, you can do that. The overall design is an aluminium case, mixture of plastic here towards the back. You've got the back handle. You have a single point for the plug there. You also have a fuse compartment inside there that houses the fuse that's in use, as well as a spare fuse. You have a Bowens mount at the front there, and you've got a protector at the front here for the COB LED, and the latch here at the top that allows you to release any Bowens fixtures. And if we take a closer look here, not sure if you can see it, but there's a huge heat sink in there, as well as a fan I can see there towards the back. So yeah, that's the cooling system essentially. And there's the bottom of the light. And of course, with the yoke bar, you have those double mounting points as mentioned with the previous model. You got the top mounting point there, as well as the side mounting point if you're looking to have this set up on a different mounting system, perhaps a wall or a ceiling mount. So I've gone ahead and downloaded the Link Lite app off the App Store here. And when you first load up the app, it has a login or sign up. And if it's your first time using it, all you need to do is just sign up with your email address. Then from there, you are presented with a screen that says add device. You hit that. Make sure that your devices are actually in pairing mode. And what you'll notice immediately is there's a way to add device automatically through the discovery mode, and also adding manually. So it's categorized there separately, depending if you want to pick your particular device. However, if not, you can see it's already found our 2 devices there. So let's hit add, and let's add the lights here. It does take some time to add the light fixtures, but once you do so, you're able to control the light fixtures independently via your phone rather than on the side panels here. Okay, once that's done, it will say the device is added successfully. You can see there, you can hit done, and you now have access to both of your light fixtures. So I'll jump into the SK-135FR. Once that loads up, I'm presented with a screen here that I can actually control the light fixture from. So right now it's on 1%. You can see I can control the intensity. I can change the color temp if I need to. I have presets for the color temp if I want to jump really quickly to a certain one. I have color as well, so I can jump into the colors. I've got gels, so you've got Lee and Roscoe gels available to you too, so if you're wanting to match that. Now this light fixture is really accurate, so it's a 97 CRI light and a TLCI of 98 plus. So having the filtering options there is great. And then lastly, the other effects, of course, as well. So much easier to control rather than going up to the manual dials here. And of course, I can jump into the X-350B as well. When you press on the device, it takes just a little while to load up. And once it does, it's loaded up and once again presented with all the powering option, all the control options here for the light, the intensity, the color temp. And because this light is only a bi-color, then it is presented with CCT and then effects. So you can jump into the lighting effects here. You can run them manually. You can change the speed, change the intensity of that particular effect. So all that you would expect from a light fixtures app control. So that was our look at 2 light fixtures from Tolifo, the SK-135FR and the X-350B LITE. Now, why would you purchase from a brand such as Tolifo and these particular light fixtures? Firstly, would be the features. If an RGB light with 2 powering options with battery and also an AC adapter is something that you value, then this is a great option. If a single point light source that's really strong and used as a key light, perhaps you can use both of these lights in a lighting configuration, then this one will be the one to look at, the X-350B LITE. And overall, Tolifo do present value for money. So these light fixtures are relatively inexpensive in comparison when you're looking at a like for like. So this is a 135 watt light fixture and a 350 watt light fixture. Now, what would you be expecting to pay for something like this? In apertures range, you have the Amaran 100 as an example, and 100X, which is a bi-color light only. And you'd be spending in the region here in Australia for about $450 to $480. And for a light fixture like this, a 350 watt, you'd be looking at maybe the Godox SL series or the Aperture C300D. And those light fixtures, you know, are going to be closer to that $1,000 price range in here in Australia. So these lights present good options, cost-effective options, and you'd only really be paying, you know, like maybe 75% of the cost. So this light here would be in the region of about $300 here in Australia as compared to $450, and the X350B would be in the around $500 range as opposed to $1,000. So you are saving quite a bit of money for the features and the output. So for more videos just like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be updated of any new content we release. Leave a like on the video if it's helped you. Feel free to leave down on the comment section below your thoughts, or if you have any questions about Tolifo or these particular lights, follow us on socials, the links are down below, and visit our website, hypop.com.au.